Welcome to Buckeyes Tomorrow Morning for Monday, June 22nd. I'm your host, Tom Orr. The Ball State game in 75 days, the game against Michigan in 159 days. We're sponsored today by our friends at Jeff Ruby's Columbus, proudly offering nationally acclaimed USDA prime steaks, seafood and sushi, impeccable service, live entertainment, and an attention to detail that is simply unmatched. Just go to jeffruby.com/Columbus to check out the menu and make a reservation today. All right, on today's show, we're going to be talking about running backs, and Ohio State had a 1,000-yard running back as a true freshman last year, Bo Jackson. We're not going to be talking about him. We're going to be talking about the other guys in the room. You know about Bo Jackson. I wanted to talk about some of the other guys in the room because it feels like there are three guys in that room who could play significant roles this year who really are not as familiar to Ohio State fans. I want to talk about all three of those guys with our buddy Tony Gerdeman of BuckeyeInsiders.com. Certainly someone who did not run for 1,000 yards last year, but also someone you're pretty familiar with. Tony, I want to start with Isaiah West because Isaiah West came in the same year as Bo Jackson, but missed spring, missed fall camp in his freshman year, came on sort of in the middle of the year, made some good impressions, and then missed spring ball again. So it feels like Ohio State fans have kind of gotten a little bit of a glimpse of Isaiah West, but talking to people around the program, it feels like the folks inside the Woody are maybe higher on Isaiah West than the general fan base might be.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And this is a guy, Isaiah West, who I guess this season was a bell curve type of thing because he had 42 yards rushing against Grambling, but didn't play against Texas, didn't play against Ohio, didn't play against Washington, and then started to gradually get some carries during the middle of the season. Had 6 carries against Michigan, only 3 carries against Indiana, didn't play against Miami, kind of went out the way that he went in. And so now for anybody that isn't there every day to be thinking Isaiah West is going to be this, he's going to be that, he's probably off a lot of people's radar, but he shouldn't be. And when we on Buckeye Weekly that we released over the weekend talking about the top 10 playmakers on offense, I don't want to spoil anything for those who have yet to listen or watch, but he was each of our number 3 playmaker on the Ohio State offense. So this is based on intel, based on things that, you got to see a little bit of last year, but he's up to 225 now. He's still shifty, and he's a year older and a year more comfortable and healthy. And to me, he's a guy that could start at a lot of places, and it'd be one of those guys that kind of comes out of the blue. You're like, where did this guy come from? And that's just, recruiting and development. Rushed for 310 yards last year. Not unusual for some freshmen at Ohio State over the course of their, over the course of time where you get a little bit of time. I could throw out Demario McCall. I could throw out Ezekiel Elliott as guys with similar rushing totals as true freshmen. He'll be somewhere in the middle. He'll be somewhere between those two, I think, in the coming years.
Yeah, those are two pretty good, pretty wide error bars there on what an Ohio State running back career might look like. But so there's Isaiah West. Wanted to talk also about Jacoby Jackson. This is another one. This is one of those guys who I think you and I both came into the spring with an idea that, okay, this is what this guy might be. This is kind of what to expect from him. And then you watched him in practice and it was like, oh, okay, I think I need to update my priors on this one.
Yeah, and if you go back to the 2024 season at Florida, 509 yards rushing, 5.4 yards per attempt, 7 touchdowns, 7 catches. Like this is a productive player and may not be your starter, but could. And the only reason maybe you're not the starter is because of, well, you've got an injury history. You came from JUCO, which he did at Florida. And so there are just guys ahead of you. And yet he worked his way into the lineup last year, 98 yards rushing, 4 games, got hurt. So, now this is his last go around. And based on what we saw this weekend or this spring, he looked very, very legit. Like he was smooth. He was comfortable outside catching the ball. He's comfortable between the tackles. He's a patient runner. I think there's a lot that you can do with him. Like with all of these guys, they're just going to be limited by their opportunities because I think if you gave him 15, 16 carries a game, I think he's a 1,000-yard rusher. But I think I could say that about probably 4 guys on this team as well.
Yeah, this is a really deep running back room. And this is one of these things that Carlos Locklyn deserves a lot of credit for because this is still a relatively young running back room. On average, if you include Jacoby Jackson, which I think this is his 7th year, like if you include that sort of skews the mean of the age of the running back room a little bit, but the median is still second year. Like Bo Jackson, Isaiah West, these are second year guys. Turbo Rogers, second year guy, and then you got Favor Aki, the freshman. One other guy that I wanted to mention, and this is someone who you mentioned, Jacoby Jackson can do a lot of different things. Legend Bay also can do a lot of different things, including get Ohio State Twitter all excited based on a side-by-side of his how much he has grown over the last few months. This is another guy where the buzz inside the building was top of the charts. I mean, really, really sort of the most buzz around any player going into spring ball was around Legend Bay. And then it's had a little minor hamstring thing, and just so you didn't really get to see nearly as much this spring, but from all indications, back healthy and ready to do some really potentially exciting things this fall.
Yeah, and after being in the building for 2 weeks, these past 2 weeks, the buzz is still there. It has not died down, and that's an exciting thing for Ohio State fans and for the Ohio State offense based on what he has the capability of doing. He's stronger, he's bigger, he's still the fastest guy, he's the most elusive, he's the most explosive. He's still a freshman, and so there may be some issues there. Just look at Bo Jackson, rushed for 1,000 yards as a true freshman last year, didn't play against Texas. So there's some things where you might have to ease him into big-time college football, and this is a big-time schedule for the Buckeyes. So maybe you want to ease him in a little quicker than you did with Bo Jackson, because you're going to need him in more games and more tougher games, more games that are matchup games than Bo Jackson was needed in last year. So it's just a lot to like, and talking with folks, the idea of putting him on special teams is also exciting, and they want that to happen. So this could be somebody who is involved in a number of things, whether it's running the ball, third down back, catching the ball, throwing screens to, kickoff returns. And it'll be I can't wait to see how he is utilized, because is it just a spot thing, where it's he's not the guy that's out there for an entire drive. Not that he couldn't be, but is it all the change of pace? Is he the fastball for when a pitcher only throws changeups, and or like when they the fastball for a knuckleball pitcher, where it's like 87 miles per hour is like 106 after you've watched 15 knuckleballs. How they're going to use him, and again, I'm not saying he can't go an entire drive, because I think he can. It's a deep room, so you've got to figure out how to make all of this work. And we've talked about 3 and alluded to Bo Jackson, and Turbo Rogers is right there as well as a guy, a redshirt freshman, itching to get out there. But I think the 3 guys that we've talked about, they're going to factor in a number of different ways.
Yeah, I mean, I think they like Turbo Rogers a lot. How many running backs can you give 5 to 10 carries a game? I mean, you do still have Jeremiah Smith. You do want to throw the ball every once in a great while. So yeah, you're going to run into numbers issues. If everyone stays healthy, you're going to run into numbers issues. Sometimes these things resolve themselves, but those are 3 guys we want to just sort of mention there in terms of people who are probably not getting quite enough shine this time of year, who you should, if you're thinking about just, hey, throw this in your conversations with your Ohio State fan friends. Hey, don't sleep on Isaiah West. I think everyone is rightly excited about what year 2 for Bo Jackson could look like, but do not sleep on Isaiah West, Jacoby Jackson, and Legend Bay. Also, do not sleep on Jeff Ruby's Columbus, the award-winning upscale steakhouse in downtown Columbus, named one of the top 50 steakhouses in America by Food Network. Just go to jeffruby.com/Columbus to check out the menu and make a reservation today. That'll do it for today. Thank you guys all for joining us. Have a great day. We'll talk to you tomorrow.